1.
Start of the day, start of the day, it is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day, it is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day, it is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day, it is the start of the day.
Dan, according to True Media, the 4-7 Bengals and the 4-7 Saints both have spent more time leading than the 9-1 Chiefs this season.
Wow. Good stat.
Thank you.
That's the point of the music and the reason that the stat of the day is the popular thing that it is. Also very popular around here. Stugotz's Weekend Observations. And Stugotz, we got to do this because there's still a lot to talk about, all right? We got to get to the fraud involving a bear suit, which is funny. We have to get to the Bill Cowher and others doing the Bills Mafia jumping through fiery tables thing. And we have to get to a helicopter coin toss before we get out of here.
Lot to get
today.
to.
Yes,
yeah.
but we begin with Weekend Observations.
It is time for Stugotz to share his game notes. No one in the media will tell you what happened better than my boy Stu.
Weekend Observations, brought to you by Miller Lite. Great taste, just 96 calories, available for delivery. Dan, 2 weeks ago, he tapped out for a play because he had the audacity to admit he was tired. His fraud of a coach said Joe Flacco was the starter for the remainder of the season. 2 losses and 4 interceptions later, Coach Phony's hand was forced. Yesterday, he completed 66% of his passes for 272 yards, 3 touchdowns, including the game winner. And Dan, just like that, make no mistake about it. Let's congratulate him together because Dan, for the first time ever here on Weekend Observations, Anthony Richardson is back.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju.
Wow.
Was Coach Phony forced to play QB Tony?
I mean, enough of that guy. Steichen, seriously. I mean, how can he... First off, Anthony Richardson should have punched him in the face. He has no business celebrating with Anthony Richardson.
I'm sure that would have gone over with
You
America.
benched him. You benched him. You told your team Flacco was the starter. And then you went against everything you said. You look like a joke in the locker room. And 2 games later, you're back to Anthony Richardson and celebrating with him after that victory. Terrible job. Anyway. Ravens Steelers. That's football. They've been playing that Ravens-Steelers game for 30 years. If you look up the definition of 18 to 16 in the dictionary, what you'll find is Ravens-Steelers. It's what that game's all about.
6 field goals wins it.
Yeah. When Mike Tomlin has a team that is converting field goals and not scoring touchdowns, he has you right where he wants you. He's 2-0.
Yeah, it's funny.
Anyway. The only loser in the Jake Paul-Mike Tyson fight was us. Boxing. Dead. Sportsbooks. When you congratulate me on my deposit, it doesn't make me feel any better about my deposit. Congratulations! You've lost and have to deposit more money. I mean, I love sports books. I do. I love gambling.
I think you should
But
be
don't congratulate me on a deposit.
I think the sing-song way you said that, you should audition to replace the AOL guy who just died here recently. The voice of the sports book, Scratchy Stugotz, just saying congratulations, we've got more of your money.
Speaking of sports books, Stugotz's personal record book. Pre-order now. StugotzBook.com.
Bestseller.
Greg Cody as well.
Bestseller. Yes. Already a bestseller, and it's not even out technically yet for the holidays. When is that? That's coming up in a minute, isn't it? Where it's like the official grand opening of you can get this everywhere, not just at StugotzBook.com.
A week from tomorrow. A week from tomorrow.
I already found a typo in it.
Oh, no.
Meadowlark was spelled wrong on my page.
Get out of here. I mean, Stanzik, Jesus.
Damn it.
Editors.
Big publisher, too. Think that they have editors.
You're right. Congratulations to the 72 Dolphins on another year as the only perfect team in NFL history. You see Zonk, he's taking over like for Merck.
Yeah, he has.
It's great, yeah.
Mercury is insufferable up in heaven right now.
Yeah.
Zonk is going everywhere, telling everyone to bleep off they're the best they've ever been.
I love that.
Can't even make fun of them this year because it's like a too soon thing.
Yeah.
With Merck because he just passed away. But
Yeah,
keep in
normally it'd
mind,
be like, oh, boo, go drink your champagne, losers. But no, it's like sad now.
the
There
thing
used to
that
be
I
so
love.
many more people toasting. It's getting to that point.
That
where-
guy that he was toasting with also, I think, if I remember correctly, is like a high school classmate of his or something. It's like a friend of his. It's not even another member
Right.
of the Dolphins.
Running out of teammates.
Aw.
Yeah.
You guys should look up just Zonk's resume in general, though, in terms of being more of a man than all of the other men who are roaming the earth. It's not just that he had an outdoorsman show. He was lost in the Bering Sea.
Yeah. Didn't sweat it either.
No, they just
So
had
he
the
sucks
Coast
at
Guard.
directions. He is a man.
Didn't the Dolphins have like another fullback that like fell off a boat and floated? Like Rob Conrad,
Rob
right?
Conrad,
Like,
yeah, we had him
Dolphins
on.
are like leading the league in former players just getting lost at sea and surviving somehow.
Yeah, but Rob Conrad was a fullback who was like lost in a canoe because he took a wrong turn in the Everglades. They had to go, Coast Guard had to go helicopter and find Zonk.
That's not Rob Conrad.
I
Was
think
also
Conrad's
in the
story was
ocean.
more- yeah.
No, he was also in the
I'm with you,
ocean.
yeah.
And won a canoe. He just fell off a boat that kept going away from him.
A wrong turn on a canoe.
Look,
I'm
I'm not.
standing up in like waist deep water.
I don't want to manifest this at all. I'm saying this on the front end. I'm worried about Jimmy, honestly, going out on the boat constantly because he goes out fishing by himself a lot.
Yeah, but he's skilled. I mean,
Yeah, it just takes one bite. You know what I mean?
The 3 rings.
It can be easy to be lost at sea. And I did undersell what happened to Rob Conrad, but I just say that comparatively to what happened to Zonk, it was the equivalence of getting lost on a paddleboard. Just comparatively.
wrong turn on a canoe.
How come somebody on Conrad's boat wasn't going, where's Rob?
Yeah.
He was alone.
Oh, was he?
Yep.
Okay, that's it. That answers that.
On
See,
a
I
canoe.
asked-
Yeah.
That's
asked an
why
answer.
Billy was afraid for Jimmy.
Jim Harbaugh lives for short yardage situations. Situations is what I was trying to say. LSU, until next year. How much longer is LSU going to pretend that Brian Kelly is a good coach?
Has he won a total of 10 games?
He stinks.
Is the total 10?
No, he won 10 games the last 2 seasons.
Right.
He's got a 10-game win streak per season record that is going to be broken this
He's got
year.
a $68 million buyout if they decide to get rid of him. So he'll be there for a while. Stash this away in the Something to Ponder file. Has 81 degrees become the new cold front in South Florida? No need to discuss now. Probably should have discussed this 50 years ago. Just stash it away for a rainy day. This weekend was a cold front. It was humid.
It's supposed to be 71 degrees
It
this
wasn't.
morning on South Beach.
Yeah, hot. A hot 71.
It was nice. It's nice. Breezy.
If you say so. Texas, congratulations on both surviving and advancing. Tulane, keep an eye on them. The Green Wave. Stanford football used to mean something.
Why'd you just do that? They won this weekend.
Yeah, it used to mean something, though. I mean, you cannot have 40 fans at a game, and then when you win that game, have those 40 fans storm the field. It's embarrassing. It used to mean something to be a part of Stanford football. John Elway played there. Andrew Luck played
But they
there.
won as a 3-touchdown underdog against Louisville. They were
To
3
get their record to 3-9 or something like that.
The end of that game was insane.
Yeah.
Louisville got a 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct penalty to put Stanford in range of a 57-yard field goal, then jumped off sides, and it became a 52-yard field goal, and they made the field goal.
Yeah.
Can't have a tree as a mascot.
I agree. I hate that
great
stupid
point.
tree.
It's a great point.
And they're Cardinal, right?
Put it on the poll,
Yes.
please.
Yeah, but
at
the mascot's a
Lebatard
tree.
That's
Show.
the mascot of the band. Is the
Can
tree.
you have a tree
band
as a
mascot.
mascot at Lebatard Show?
Can you have a band mascot? I mean,
Ugh.
I don't know how I feel about that. James Franklin, do it against a good team. Not anyone in particular, just someone good. Anyone. Thanks. No one steals fantasy touchdowns from more deserving teammates quite like Taysom Hill. I mean, he just steals them. He steals them. I mean, Kamara's out there. He's getting them down the field. He gets them inside the 5, and then you know who steals his touchdown? Taysom Hill.
Mike, a couple of weeks ago, you were saying bet at value Taysom Hill over 1.5 touchdowns. Did you bet that this weekend?
No, Dan.
Taysom Hill also had like 180 rushing yards. He wasn't just
He did.
stealing touchdowns.
I know.
yesterday.
He ran into a team that looked like it quit.
Yes, but for his career, Billy, he is a stealer of touchdowns. For more deserving players. That's all I'm saying.
He only had 130, 180 combined with receiving.
Dan, you have never sounded older than you did when last week, on 3 separate occasions, when speaking about young people, you said to me, they don't know what they don't know. Here's what I know. You need to stop saying that.
It is what it is.
Hey!
Time will tell.
The Jets trotted out their 4th kicker in 4 weeks. I hate them. Yesterday, the Jets scored 25 points for the first time this season. I hate them. Despite that offensive explosion, they still lost. I hate them. Not a matter of if, just a matter of how. I hate them. I imagine Robert Saleh watching the Jets game from his couch with his feet kicked up and a big smile on his face. Dan, the S in Saleh stands for smiles. All smiles. I love a full complement of timeouts. Don't you feel better when you have a full complement?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. The Jets never have that.
Is there a full complement of anything other than timeouts? Like, does that phrase get used with anything else? A full complement of anywhere other than with timeouts?
No, that's it.
Uncorked as a phrase is only used for wild pitches and wines. Is this in that category? Is this
Bats.
Someone told me I have an ass, don't quit. I said, that's a full compliment.
Yeah.
really? Someone told you got an ass that don't quit.
I made that up.
Do you have your full complement of relievers in a bullpen?
I don't know. Do you?
I just did.
Has anyone ever said that, though?
Yeah.
Really?
Sounds like a
I
phrase.
think it could be
Interesting.
anything.
You think if you're a reliever down from either injury or you used him the day before, you don't have a full complement of relievers?
I'm thinking a manager before the game says, I have my full complement of relievers. Everyone's
I think
rested.
you might be right. Yeah.
I just Googled full complement of just to see what else would come up. And adult teeth is one of the first things that comes up.
What? Wow.
Greg, you have a full complement?
I do so far.
You have a full complement of adult teeth? You
I
do?
do, yeah.
You still have a full complement. You haven't lost any.
I've got great gums. My dentist told me that I will die with my teeth. That's the exact phrase he used, which I thought he might have rephrased that to make me feel a little better.
Isaac Wilson, Zach's brother, plays quarterback at Utah. 3 interceptions over the weekend. You know what they say, Dan? The apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. It's brothers, though, so it's a little bit different. But you get what I'm saying, right?
Well, the cliche doesn't work with brothers.
Birds
Well-
of a feather is what you wanted to say.
Yeah, perhaps. What I wanted to say is Zach Wilson is the apple that dropped first, and it was far from the tree, and then his brother was even further from the tree. You get what I'm saying?
That doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense.
Genetics is what you mean.
Yep.
They're
That
brothers.
kind of thing.
They're brothers
Yeah.
is all you mean.
Yeah. Louisville, Stanford, couple of Cardinals cutting it up.
I mean, one is a cardinal.
Well,
It's singular.
It's a cardinal sin that Stugotz just made.
and a tree.
But one's a bird, the other one's a color.
When it gets past midnight in Provo,
Birds of a feather.
all bets are off. That's the thing with BYU. That's what happened. They have to win that game before midnight because after midnight, anything could happen. Even in Provo. Especially in Provo.
Did the BYU quarterback throw that nasty interception before midnight? I think he did.
I
That
think
was
so,
when
yeah.
it was the beginning of the end.
The BYU. Making Hawaii play in the snow just isn't right.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju, at Batard Show. Is it right to make Hawaii play in the snow?
Matt LaFleur is 11-0 against the Bears. You, of course, know what that means, right, Dan?
He has their number.
Good guess. Just means he's 11-0.
Okay. Okay.
I understand, though. I understand why you would guess that. Having a quarterback who can get you 1 yard on a QB sneak might be the most underrated thing in football. Greg agrees. Look at that.
I do.
Amazing. Good company. Josh Allen, the rare touchdown that wins the game and the MVP. Wow. What happened there? The weekend did.
Mark it.
Double-digit leads make Mike Tomlin uncomfortable. Mark it.
That'll be a good stump the meech.
Yes.
It's going to be a good one. Double dip.
I want to hear it back. Double dip.
Yeah, you tripped over. You got scared. It had like 4 G's in it.
But you agree with me, right? Like when Tomlin's up 14, he doesn't like that. He wants to out-coach you and out-kick you in the final couple of minutes. He does. He's at his best. Here come the Kraken.
Speaking of Mike Tyson's ass.
How happy were you guys to see the Panthers smoke Winnipeg like that?
Needed those after those Devils games.
Yeah. Somebody had to lose between Nebraska and USC. Nebraska clearly wanted it more. Steelers, Saints, Colts. You know what the dogs were doing Sunday, Dan? They were barking.
They were barking.
Yeah, I
Of
can see how you're
course
off.
they
You guessed
were,
right the
yes.
first time. And,
Yes, yeah. Guessed wrong. Yeah.
Fran Brown earned his shower this week. Only Jared Goff can go from 5 interceptions to a perfect passer rating. The Jets are a Geno Smith away. Justin Tucker kicking his way out of the Hall of Fame. I would be okay with the Chiefs and Bills playing every single week. Same with Ravens Steelers. Always delivers. Patriots walking that fine line of knowing they have a franchise quarterback but still losing. That's what I call the sweet spot. It's a great spot. Oh, I love that spot.
So you're convinced on Drake May?
I am.
Good game.
The only guy I'm not convinced of is Caleb. Bo Nix is amazing. Jaden, very good. The thought of Michael Penix, amazing. Penix played yesterday.
Speaking of
Couple
teams
snaps.
that looked like they quit, Mike, because I don't know how you do that with Cleveland where they lose 35-14 and you see a team that quit, but that Atlanta result looked like quitting, even though it wasn't quitting. Denver did that to them.
Excited to have Kirk Cousins in the studio for Football Night in America. I think he's going to kill it. I think he's going to be a great commentator.
Dan, you know what the P in Doug Peterson stands for? Pack your bags. Bill Belichick, Jacksonville Jaguars, collision course, Jacksonville. It's happening. He's going there. Nobody loves a shovel pass like the Kansas City Chiefs. They do. They love them.
Put it on the poll, Juju, at Batard Show. Would you be fine if the Bills and Chiefs played every week?
Yeah. Justin Herbert can scoot. Bo Nix and the Broncos squarely in the mix. Bo Mix. How the hell did the Lions get 38 first downs in a single game? Speaking of hell, Art Briles. Dan, those are the weekend observations.
So get for me, please, the CBS crew enjoying itself with Bills Mafia. It feels good to be Buffalo today. You take out Kansas City. Everyone else was playing one-score games against Kansas City. Nobody knew how to beat them, but you beat them with your quarterback being the best at the end. And let's just watch here what was happening during Bills Mafia fun as everything descended on Buffalo, and we had a bunch of people who did not know how to jump and run and fall into tables. The NFL Today crew was jumping. What are you guys making faces about back there, Billy?
Those are fake tables.
The tables are definitely like pre-cut.
No, it's missing hardware at the bottom. Look, like when it goes. No, but look, they shouldn't separate into two pieces like that. There's hardware missing that connects those two pieces together.
Right. No, these
those
tables,
are prop tables.
They're easier to jump through than most, but still, this is for people just listening. This is J.J. Watt, Nate Burleson, Matt Ryan, and Bill Cower, and they're all doing it to their credit.
Oh, my
He's
God.
about to. Cower goes. They build up to Cower. No, he's going right here. See, here's Cower.
Cower's a little old to be doing this, I feel like. Isn't Cower approaching 70 now?
Oh,
Oh,
my
man,
God.
that hurt. That hurt.
That seemed
hurt.
dangerous for his head
Couldn't
there.
pay me to
Howard.
do that.
Now, these guys at least have the right technique. They're just doing the classic elbow, wrestling drop through a table, ass. You break the fall with your ass.
Ass
Ro-
first for sure.
Ass first. And now let's go to Harry Douglas. This guy's crazy. All right, he's on top of what looks like a van, an RV of some sort. He jumps through a table. He clearly has never seen this done before. He goes feet first.
Yeah, I don't think that Harry knew what he was doing here. This is not how you do this. Ouch! That's a good way to
my
hurt yourself.
God.
So he goes feet first. His feet fly into the air. His head goes back as if it's going to. Luckily, he did not bang his head on the ground. He was okay.
But he doesn't know what he's doing here. He's doing it poorly, and he's doing it a second time.
No, that's a replay. The best part about this is no. The best part about this is he does do it a second time. Guys,
The same way.
He goes back up. He does it the same way. It's not as bad of a fall, but he doesn't learn his lesson. He goes feet first, and
Why is he doing that? Why isn't anyone telling him? That's
That's
not
a
how
real
you do it.
table.
Oh
crazy.
my God, this is such a terrible idea.
Wow, and a waste of tables.
We wouldn't even do that at Meadowlark.
It is a waste of tables. Can you guys get for me, please, the video of the helicopter ball drop, coin drop, and just basically it's a fight at the start of a football game to drop a football onto the field and have whoever it is that gets that football. This seems like a waste of fuel. It seems like a waste of money. It seems like, what is this game? Where is this happening?
This is in Utah. This is a 1A state championship game.
And it's just two players sitting at the midfield. They drop the ball what looks like 100 feet, and it's
love
just
this.
a free-for-all to get the ball.
I love that. So if you get the ball first? Is that the...
Yes, or you get to decide probably,
like a face-off.
as if you won the coin toss.
this is
I'm with
great.
Dan though. This seems inefficient in terms of funds.
Good use of government money. A military helicopter being used for that. $5,000 every time it lifts off.
I imagine that's not cheap to get a helicopter over there to do that. I wanted to switch here, though, to an insurance fraud story before we finish up this hour. I don't know if you're familiar with this, Stugotz, but there was an insurance claim that was made, and there's video proof of the insurance claim, which is a bear destroyed our property. And this story unraveled as soon as the insurance the insurance checkpoints
The adjusters.
the adjusters found out that it wasn't a bear, an actual bear. It was just a human being in a bear costume.
Yeah, these people were like, hey, a bear broke into our car, and they sent this video footage in to their insurers, and the insurers were like, something about this bear video is not right. And they were able to do an investigation and deduced that this was, in fact, a person in a bear costume with completed with a furry snouted head, paws, and metal tools in the shape of claws.
The bear had what was clearly a human elbow, which is where the story started to fall apart.
And also it was the wrong color bear because the brown bears are not common there. Black bears are, but they can be brown. But this shade of brown was incorrect. So the California Department of Fish and Wildlife was like, hang on a second.
You know what? Points for inventive fraud.
Yep.
I mean, if you're going to try to, cheat the insurance company,
A
go
for
for
effort.
it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, good try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think you get an F for this.
It's an F all around, and it's a crime as well as an added bonus.
Okay.
We're saying A for effort. That's all we're saying.
I'm going to give you an A for effort, and I'm going to give the Jets an A for effort on your pain. Let's finally play the song I asked for 2 hours ago.
All in. All in? I'm a fan of the Jets. I'm a fan of the Jets. The Jets. The Jets. Why this team? The Jets. Ah, the Jets! The Jets!
Bravissimo.
Stugotz, this is a Miami legend.
Yeah.
5-time Pro Bowler in 6 NFL seasons. 3rd in NFL career rushing yards with 1,600 yards. Most seasons with 1,200 yards from scrimmage. What? I'm going to tell him. Most seasons with 1,200 yards from scrimmage, 12.
He has to be headed to Canton. There's
Most
no doubt.
consecutive seasons with at least 500 yards, 16 of them. Most consecutive seasons with at least 600 yards. Which is it, Frank Gore? Which is the number that you're proudest of, Frank?
16,000.
Yeah.
16,000 yards.
Yep.
That's what I'm proud about.
Mhm.
Yep.
Let them know. They said coming out of college, I only played two or 3 years in the league because my injuries. And I overcame that and played 16 years. I'm gonna say all my yards I'm proud of. So 16,000, the number 16,000.
And when you see that number and your name and only Emmitt Smith and Walter Payton are above it, when I put you in that class, that's not even something that you imagined, correct?
I never thought about it. But now since I'm not playing, you look at the list and you see my number 3, man. That's a blessing. I'm proud, and I'll be so happy to show my kids, and also because I kind of help coaching low league, part 1 of football. So I show my kids I coach, on YouTube like where I'm at, and they be amazed too because they never saw me play.
Can you?
So yeah, I'm proud of it.
Can you explain to the people how unlikely, against the odds, the entirety of your story is? Like, I know we've talked to you a lot over the years, but just when you think of your story being against the odds, what do you think of as the hardest things that got in your way?
Well, I would say what got in my, my story was it's crazy. Going to the University of Miami. I went to Miami 2001. Played with the best team ever, college football team. I played as a freshman. I came back next year, sophomore year. Going to my sophomore year, I tore my ACL. I got back on my feet, had a couple of games, and I tore my ACL again. And a lot of people wrote me off. Then also I had going into the combine. I found out I had labrum tear in the combine, so a lot of people took me off their draft board, and the 49ers took a chance on me, and everybody was saying that they took me too high in the 3rd round. And they said I was played 2 years, 3 years in the league, and I was able to play 16. And I tell the kids, my story. I told them, man, as long as you believe in God and work your behind off, and don't worry about what people say, and believe in yourself that you could do it. And I showed them that that it can't happen.
Let's talk about that 2001 running backs room for a second. Who was the best running back in that room?
I would never say who was the best because I think we all was good. And I think when you look at our numbers and what we did when we went to the NFL, it shows that we all can play. Because you look at our numbers, I think we all got close to 10,000 or 10,000 yards. So that take a hats off to our coach and us, just competing. And when I tell people about that room, I think that room got me prepared to go to the NFL. Because the NFL, they try to replace you every year. And I didn't care who they brought in the room, and the 49ers, at the Colts, in Miami, the Buffalo, or the Jets, because I was used to it, going to the University of Miami for the competition, just competing with Portis, McGahee, Jerry Payton, Najee Davenport. It didn't matter to me because what I had to deal with at the University of Miami.
But what are the stories that can now be told 20 years later about how competitive that was? Because you're talking about a lot of running back, professional running backs. It was hard for you to play as a freshman. It was an accomplishment that you were playing as a freshman.
I would say you had to do everything right. At the time, in that time, you had to go to class. You had to bring it every day in practice, unless Coach Sargent wasn't going to play you on Saturday. But I will say what I took my hat off to Clinton Portis, man. He was the starter. Me coming in as a freshman, I was like one of the top guys in the nation. And he never, he took me under his wing. And a lot of guys don't do that when they see a guy who can play. I could be like, he could be before the game because I was his roommate the night before the games. He'll be like, "Hey Frank, I'm gonna go get 100. I'm gonna get 150 first half. I'm gonna let you go handle the second half. And stuff like that. So I take my hats off to my boy Clinton, man. He was real OG to me. He really took care of me when I went to the University of Miami.
Harbaugh's crazy, right?
That's my man. Harbaugh, a great coach.
I don't disagree, but he's also crazy, right?
Harbaugh kind of different.
He regrets not running you more in the Super Bowl at the end. Has he told you this?
Yeah, he did. I saw. He never told me, but I saw like the interview. I think last year, he finally said that he should have gave me the opportunity to run. But it's all good. I wish we would have got the win. But it was a great experience.
Frank, I'm a body language expert. I've been interviewing for a long time. The way that you fiddled with that pen, you remember that he didn't run you late in that game, and you're pretending like it was okay when it was goddamn not okay. It was not okay.
Say it, Frank.
It was
feel
not,
better.
It was
You'll
not
feel
okay,
better.
Frank.
Yeah.
You were playing around with that pen because you don't want to say anything controversial, and I understand that I'm badgering you right now.
Harbaugh, my guy, man. I love Coach Harbaugh, man. I talk to him a lot. I wish him well at the Chargers, and he's doing a great job, man. He's my guy. He's my guy.
Frank, I need 3 yards tomorrow. Can you still get it for me?
Oh, what are you kidding me?
Yeah, I'll go get it.
Yeah! My man! Yes!
I'll go get it.
I have no doubt either.
No, I mean, of course not. He could go get it. Was it hard at the end to let it go, Frank? Because it looked at by the end, 20 years on the body in that sport doing that thing seems like it wouldn't be hard to let it go because of how much it hurts.
Yeah, it was, talking about not winning the Super Bowl, right?
No, I'm just talking about the physical pain of. I'm talking about what you did for
football?
a living. Yeah, football.
No, I was like when I was playing because I loved the game so much. I used to be scared about, when I got older about, just what I'm gonna do when I'm done. But I always told myself, if I couldn't work out and didn't want to work out the same, I walk away because I take pride in how I look on some days, and I know like if you don't work out the off season, you're not can't be yourself on some days. And once it was my year after the Jets, I remember when I started off season workout, and I just didn't want to do my second workouts no more. Because I used to work out twice a day. I felt like the morning workouts, working out with other guys in the NFL, that's what you're supposed to do. But the workout, what got me over the top, my second workout, my second training, that was nobody not doing. Everybody probably partying, but I'm out training. And when I was skipping days, not working out, my second workout, that's when I was kind of iffy about me going back. And I did get calls 2021 to go back and play. And when I told them no, I was happy with myself because I never thought I'd say no about playing ball.
What were the opportunities that you turned down in 2021?
I had Baltimore. I could have went to because my coordinator who I was with in my San Francisco, Greg Roman, he was the coordinator, and that went on. J.K. Dobbins got hurt, and they called to see if I wanted to come up, and and I decided, and I told them I knew I didn't train the way I usually train. And when I told him no, he was surprised himself because he know the way I love ball. But I was happy with myself. I was happy for me, to walk away like that on my terms. You know what I'm saying?
Frank, you weren't done competing, though, after football. I saw you a few years ago in a small boxing gym in Broward County training for your first professional fight.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how you look back on your boxing experience and what you thought of Tyson Paul. Tyson Paul.
I wish I would have trained with a different trainer who really, I would say like the first fight, they didn't prepare me the right way. I didn't, because I didn't know what to expect. So I'm thinking I'm doing the right thing. But I fought 2 times. The second fight, that's what made me really kind of say it was too much aggressive, too much for me. But the second fight, they showed me how you really supposed to train for a fight. And it was just a lot, man. It's too aggressive, especially me playing football, 16 years. Then I'm, sparring 3 times a week. Once I found out the right way, how you really train, I was saying it's too aggressive. But, the fight Saturday, I was, it was it was sad. I was kind of worried about Tyson, but he got through 8 rounds. I could tell Jake didn't go really hard because I think Jake probably could have hurt him. To say a 58-year-old man going 8 rounds, getting through it, that was a plus for Tyson.
What are you doing with DirecTV, Frank?
Well, I joined DirecTV. We had a great time this weekend with the fans. We had a tailgate party before the games. Enjoyed all my fans out here in the Bay Area. We had I was signing autographs, playing games. We had free food. Watching early games and just had a great time to get ready. Before we played Seattle, it was a great tailgate party.
But the Nothing on Your Roof campaign, what is that? What is it that you were launching, and why does it matter to you?
It matters to me because it's something that I enjoy. Because we had the fans over, the fans who always been my biggest fans here. They always been great to me. DirecTV, one of the best TV station that sports that you watch sports on. And just being there around the fans, man, and just enjoying them, man, and trying to get ready to cheer the 49ers on before the game.
And with Nothing on Your Roof now, you can do it satellite free, which is super cool, right?
Yep, yeah.
Frank, before we let you go, on the last note, with 16 years of running the ball as physically as you ran the ball, which part of the body is the one that takes the beating the most of 16 years of doing it the way that you did it?
It's different for me because I really didn't get hit, man. I played low to the ground, and I played off angles. So that's why that's why I still feel good. Like, I never took a flush hit. I never let no one hit me flush. So I can't say,
So nothing hurts, Frank.
Unbelievable.
Frank, you did it for 16 years, and
God bless you.
Yeah, and you were able to avoid
I'm
all.
blessed.
I mean, 3 yards tomorrow. He gets it.
I can go play right now, man.
Yeah.
Frank,
He could.
my knees hurt, my back hurts.
Getting out of the car.
Just getting up in the morning. You avoided all clean hits.
I wish you could see me train right now. I still, the summer times I train young running backs, and I go out and train with them. I train my son. I train with Jonathan Taylor. I train with a lot of other young running backs was in college. Damian Martinez at Miami. I wish you could come see us.
Who came the closest to a clean hit on Frank Gore? Give me a name.
I would say, God bless his soul, when I was my first year, my rookie year, Sean Taylor. But I could kind of tell he did it on purpose, not to really try to kill me. He kind of hit me with his shoulder because that's my boy. That was my boy. So
he eased up on you.
People talk about Sean Taylor that way, in a way that's really confusing to me. The way they talk about Sean Taylor in retrospect.
Yeah, he was one of the best guys I played with, man. One of the most talented players I ever saw play the game of football, man. I think he could have played any position and been like a guy, and on football film, man. He was incredible.
Frank, always good catching up with you. Thank you for making the time for us.
All right, thank y'all.
Thank you, Frank.
Dan, you did it again to me.
What'd I do?
We went through the whole show. You don't want to hear about my listener league experience. How
I
did
never
this
do.
week.
I never do want to hear.
Why not?
I don't. I'm just not interested in any way about your listener.
Why? You can participate. Join us,
Weird.
Dan. Every week you can do it. DKNG.co/Smirnoff, presented by Smirnoff, the world's #1 vodka. Please drink responsibly.
That was too fast. You need to help people get the information
What do you mean?
in a way that's slower.
DKNG.co/Smirnoff.
Yeah, you just have to do it correctly and not that quickly so that people understand what you're saying.
I just boom, boom, I get it in, and then I talk about it a little bit more, and then boom, boom, I get it in again later on. That's why, you know what? Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I've been reading it too quickly, and that's why you haven't joined the league yet, and that's why you're not interested in the league.
It's one of the many reasons I would put on the list that I'm not interested on, although I am tired of hearing Stugotz talking about how well you and Whitty are doing and he's doing, like, during the break.
That's a different league.
That's not the one that DKNG.co/Smirnoff. That's a different league.
I'm not interested in that one
legalities
either.
of that league are questionable at best. But
does anyone here have a league I would be interested
this
in?
one,
Jessica, are you in any good leagues that people would be interested in?
League of Legends. Do you
Wow.
want to play with me?
Dan, I'm trying to tell you, John, who had a great week for me. He was a steal of the week. I got him 31.1 points. You know who wasn't? Russell Wilson.
Oh.
Terrible performance.
Ooh.
He really shit the bed. 7.3 points. Speaking of shit the beds, Greg, you had something about potty training?
Good natural segue,
Wow.
Billy. I'm glad that we just offered you that as during the break. You said you had a good way to lead into it, and you showed me nothing. Thank you for that. I don't want to talk about Greg Cody's potty training. I want
What?
to talk about
I don't
college
blame you.
football.
That build-up.
It's actually not my potty training. I've been potty trained for about 67 years.
When you lose your faculties, and I'm not saying that you have, but you will at some point. When you lose your
Oh, thank
faculties
you for that.
and you go back, you can't re-potty train, right?
You know what? I'm going to cross that bridge when I get to it.
It's an incontinence thing, I think. Like, you want to use the toilet, but you can't hold it anymore.
So you're still technically potty trained.
Yeah, I think
Got
so.
You're always potty trained.
Jessica, over the weekend, and I know that this happens all of the time where professional football engulfs college football, but in a season that hasn't had a college football team that is actually flawless, although there are unbeaten records, seeing Oregon whiff and wheeze and just barely eke out a road victory at Wisconsin suggests to me that basically winning on the road for college kids is really hard, just everywhere, and that there's not actually a team talented enough to be able to consistently overcome it, even though Oregon did win that game against Wisconsin. To me, Oregon this weekend did more damage to all the things that I think Oregon is by winning, even though they won at Wisconsin, reputationally, than anybody did by losing, because I'm watching that game against Wisconsin, and Wisconsin is wildly unimpressive to me.
Yeah, Wisconsin's offense isn't great. They fired their offensive coordinator, Phil Longo, after the game because it just really hasn't worked out. They're on like their third string quarterback because Tyler Van Dyke got hurt in the Alabama game earlier this year. But also, I think like Oregon, it was a close game. Like, it was a really close game. Oregon was not very good in the red zone. Like, they weren't good at finishing drives, kind of like the Steelers on Sunday, honestly. But it was also like they haven't had a bye week since like week 3. And so it's like their 8th game in a row, and now they get a bye and play Washington. So really, they just had to get through that long stretch and be undefeated. And I don't really picture a scenario now where they miss the playoff, because they're going to beat Washington. I'm pretty confident of that. And then they're undefeated. So yeah, it was a close game. I think Wisconsin, like, they're confusing because they haven't really been great this year, but they're not like the players were up for that game, especially the defense. And it was a home game, and like the energy was really great. And so I think all of those factors kind of play into it being a little closer than you expect. But Oregon, obviously, they get the result, and that's all you need in a season where you already have 10 other
But
wins.
you understand what I'm saying when I see that game, and I'm like, oh, came away less impressed. You're undefeated, yes, but came away much less impressed about any. I believe that any team in football that we put in the playoff can beat that one.
It was a bad win, huh?
Yeah, but I think that's where college football is, and I think people, media and fans alike, are really struggling viewing this sport any way than they used to.
Right.
Which is, wow, that's an indictment on Oregon. I don't think it is. If you provide the context of it's their 8th straight game, it's their 3rd time traveling to a different time zone within that stretch, it's a conference road game in a historically difficult place to play, winning is hard. There isn't a dominant team in college football this year. There is an entire tier that pretty much anyone in that tier can beat the other.
I think it's a fascinating season for some of the reasons we're mentioning. For example, a second-tier team like Miami looks at Oregon barely win, and they're emboldened to think, why not us?
I actually don't think Miami's a secondary tier team. I think the first tier's got about like 20 teams in it. I look at Miami and I see, man, if you just have a C+ defense,
right,
you can win a national title. I'm really excited for the college football playoff. I'm excited for this Indiana-Ohio State matchup that we have this week, because I think everyone just assumes Ohio State is going to hand Indiana its scheduled loss, and I maybe feel a little bit differently than that. I think what's happening with the Big 12, I certainly want to give Deion Sanders his credit, because what he's done there this year.
Yes.
But there's plenty of people doing that. However, he's got Kansas coming up at Kansas. They've figured it out. Jalen Daniels is really shaking off the struggles of the earlier part of the season. It's a big rat poison week. I love where college football is right now.
This thing with Colorado and Miami is interesting because both of them are similar in this regard, Stugotz. You've got coaches who have fixed it with a Band-Aid. It's not a long-term fix. It's a quarterback fix in Miami and Colorado that has made them in year 2 and 3 get to a place faster than they have any right to do. But it's not enduring legacy or program building. Deion is using this as a stepping stone. It's the best the Colorado team has been in 20 years, Stugotz, to start off 8-2. But it's because he's got those two players. It's just come in, fix it, and it's not a permanent fix. It's not something that's going to build the program, but it's a great thing to build off because you got the quarterback right in both Colorado and Miami. And you sort of fast-tracked how quickly you get into this conversation in a way that, Florida State tumbles off to the side. Florida fixes some things. Florida, all of a sudden now, isn't the embarrassment it was made to look like in the first game of the season against Miami, but these aren't enduring fixes. It's all temporary and transactional.
I think one of the common threads on Saturday was that there weren't a ton of crazy upsets, but there could have been if not for the fact that having a competent college quarterback is a luxury that a lot of teams just don't have. If Wisconsin has a slightly better quarterback, I said third string, he's their second string, Braden Locke. That game, it might actually be an upset. Same with Arkansas and Texas. Arkansas's defense played Texas really hard on Saturday, but the offense couldn't do anything. Utah and Colorado is the same way. Utah's defense was hanging in there until they couldn't because they just couldn't score. Their offense couldn't do anything. Stugotz mentioned their quarterback earlier throwing all those picks. It's just really hard to win in college football when you don't have a quarterback. And it sounds like it's totally obvious, but getting a good quarterback in the portal or getting someone to transfer or recruiting a quarterback that you can develop, those are things that good programs are going to have to figure out the balance of doing. But you can't overstate how important it is because that's been the difference in Oregon winning because Dylan Gabriel's played college football for a long time. He's good in late game situations. He has experience. He's competent, and he'll get you 3 points when you need it at the end of the game.
And from what I'm hearing, it sounds like Colorado's going to get Julian Lewis, the number 2 quarterback in this class that just recently decommitted from USC. Colorado feels really good about where they're positioned there. I would say with Miami, they're exactly where they need to be for this kind of coach in terms of his approach to roster building. Yeah, you may say they got Cam Ward. Where does that leave them? This isn't a Jordan Travis situation with the way that this head coach builds. Deion's probably a little different because his approach to high school recruiting is different. He doesn't leave Colorado all that often. But that being said, as I just told you, they feel really good about getting a 5-star quarterback.
Oh, but no, be clear on this part of it. You can't get to real building unless you get the momentum of it. The reason that I say that these aren't long-term fixes is once you remove that particular quarterback, Miami's not a special football team. You're talking about getting C-plus defense to run this gauntlet through the playoffs. There's no way to go on a winning streak through the playoffs playing defense as poorly as Miami plays it when you're going to be playing against teams that are more complete than the ones they've been playing against.
I think the Colorado thing is so interesting because I don't think anyone knows if Deion wants to coach past these two players, his son and Travis. I don't think anyone knows, and no one knows if Deion would continue to be a great recruiter, a great coach.
It doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter.
No, but it does feel like a short-term thing where he's there just to get his son through.
He's done the job that he was hired to do. He has done it.
He's done an exceptional job.
He has done. Look, man, that team was the worst program in the big time of college football when he inherited it, and they haven't been 8-2 since 2006. The job has been done correctly no matter what. Now he can lose against Kansas. The job's been done correctly.
I'm just wondering, though, if Deion wants to coach past his son being at Colorado. That's going to be interesting to see.
He has built it so that he can do whatever it is that he wishes to do if he wants to get out of there. To me, what has happened with the business of Colorado is one kind of interesting. To me, optimal for Deion would be to get out of there immediately. Optimal. Not to stay there and worry about whether you have to keep it there or not.
Right.
You've got those two players, and it's not just that you're having the best season Colorado's had since 2006. You might get 2 dudes into the Heisman room. 2 of them with a program that 2 years ago was worst in the country. To me, I get out of there with them. I figure out whatever it is where am I wanted? Where can I turn this into something as they're talking on television on First Take, whether you should take over the Cowboys or not? You laugh at that.
I don't laugh at that.
You laugh, but the Cowboys can't be worse than they are right now if I put Deion in charge.
No, I actually think it would be a great move for Deion to take that job because the bar is so low after McCarthy.
I mean, Michael Irvin was pushing Deion Sanders to Dallas during the Tyson Paul fight, sitting right next to Jerry Jones. Michael Irvin mentions getting primed to Dallas, so that's a pretty good lobbyist to have, Michael Irvin.
It was funny watching Jerry try to be like, no, let's talk about something else. That's awkward, Michael Irvin. Do you guys think that Ohio State will beat Indiana by
double-digit?
Yes or no?
I believe that Oregon had to win by
double-digit.
Does the second word start with a J?
Double-digit. I think I went to Jidget.
Yeah. This is like round one for me. I think we might have to give this one first round because it's easier than I thought it would be.
Double-digit.
I think you cut out double and just do jidget.
Jidget.
Yeah. Double-digit. Yeah. And the
We don't do unfair editing though. We just play it how it goes.
Yeah, right.
Double-digit.
What's up, everybody? It's Mike, and it's the holiday season. It's approaching anyways, and the holiday season means family gatherings. You're going to be hosting your family, opening up your doors to, let's face it, potentially some problems. There's always family disagreements and things up for debate. Well, let me tell you something that's not up for debate. The great taste of Miller Lite. In these polarizing times, it's good to have something that we can find general consensus on, and that is that beautiful white can, Miller Lite. Is awesome. It makes any time a Miller time, and it's got taste that you know that you can depend on. A beer that is brewed for people who actually like the taste of beer. And let's not forget, simple ingredients and the fact that Miller Lite is only 96 calories, folks. That's right, and just 3.2 grams per 12 ounces. Making memories at year-end gatherings, I ask you? Well, make those memories taste like Miller time. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan and find delivery options near you. Or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere that they sell beer. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. Fewer calories and carbs than premium regular beer.